All right, buckle up, buttercups, because if you thought the royal soap opera couldn't get any more gloriously cringeworthy, you clearly haven't been paying attention. Today, we're not just examining tapestries, darling. We're dissecting a royal disaster of epic proportions, a hideous quandary for poor King Charles III that's practically screaming for a Netflix special. Who's the star of this tragicomedy, you ask? Why, none other than the Duke of Disgrace himself, Prince Andrew. Yes, that. Andrew, still clinging to the tattered coattails of his past, now, apparently, a walking, talking biohazard for the monarchy's image and integrity. Honestly, you can practically hear the royal reputation dissolving like a sugar cube in a hot cuppa. This latest eruption of scandal? It's all thanks to the posthumous bombshells dropped by trafficking victim Virginia Giuffre. Her tragic passing, followed by these deeply troubling memoir excerpts, has absolutely reignited the bonfire under Andrew's dwindling privileges. Our dear sovereign, bless his cotton socks, is now stuck between a rock and a very hard, very public place. Before we dive headfirst into the glorious chaos of what Charles might finally do, remember to smash that like button, subscribe for the juiciest royal gossip, and hit the bell, because, honey, you won't want to miss a single delicious detail of this unfolding train wreck. Your engagement, obviously, helps us bring these vital stories to your eager ears. Part 1. The Ghost of Truth, haunting Andrew's fairy tale. So what stirred this particular hornet's nest? Oh, just the impending literary debut of Virginia Giuffre's memoir. For those who've been living under a rock, perhaps one of Andrew's many rocks. Miss Giuffre, a truly courageous soul tormented by that monster. Jeffrey Epstein, sadly left us at just 44 this past April. Now, her life story, especially the bits about the Duke of York, is about to hit shelves with all the subtlety of a royal scandal. And the timing? Pure theatrical genius. She's not here to defend her claims against potential, challenges. Talk about a mic drop from beyond the grave. The public is practically foaming at the mouth, waiting for this book. Clearly, the excerpts are bursting with even more deeply shameful claims against Andrew, adding another thick layer of industrial-grade grime to his already spectacularly tarnished royal legacy. We don't even need the full gory details yet. Just the anticipation is enough to send the Palace PR team into a full-blown meltdown, probably with several broken teacups. Let's be real, a posthumous account that carries a certain finality, a gravitas that makes it rather difficult for Andrew's supporters, if any shadowy figures still exist, to wave it away as just opportunistic. For years, the monarchy has tried to surgically remove Andrew like a particularly stubborn wart, hoping time and silence would magically erase his Epstein problem. But oh no, the universe, or perhaps just karma, has other plans. The relentless drip feed of uncomfortable truths, court filings, documentaries, and now a victim's final testimony keeps this mess as fresh and pungent as a week-old royal sandwich. And that staggering sum he paid Ms. Giuffre to settle without ever admitting guilt. Honestly, it convinced precisely 0 people of his innocence. Instead, everyone with an ounce of common sense just read it as, "Yep, he did it, let's make this go away quietly." Part 2. Charlie's Royal Headache, Brotherly Love versus Brand Management. And this is where the comedy hits maximum volume. All this persistent reputational damage, which is a rather polite way of saying Andrew's utter disaster, has landed squarely on the freshly crowned shoulders of King Charles III. Oh, the drama! Perplexing, the experts tut. Really? It's not perplexing, it's painfully obvious. Our dear king is caught in a classic soap opera bind. The elder brother, bound by strained familial ties. You can almost hear the violins. versus his far more important gig as the big boss, the ultimate custodian of the crown's moral standing and historical legacy. Let's face it, that institutional role screams for some decisive action, lest the whole thing collapse under the weight of condemnation, as the ever-blunt Jenny Bond so delicately put it. Miss Bond, bless her, didn't mince words. Andrew, even in his pathetic, drastically reduced capacity, is now actively undoing all the sparkly, positive PR work by Charles, Camilla, William, and whoever else is desperately trying to modernise this ancient brand. The Epstein shadow is so ridiculously long and dark, it's practically eclipsing every good deed, every ribbon cutting, every attempt at appearing relevant, which naturally explains the furious buzzing in royal circles about stripping Andrew of whatever pitiful royal titles he still clings to. Apparently, Charles is desperate to further distance the entire York family. Yes, even poor Beatrice and Eugenie, who must feel like they're living in a perpetually awkward family photo from the main royal circus. He needs to stop the taint from spreading to the next generation of working royals, as if it's some sort of aristocratic plague. So, the king must weigh family peace, as if Andrew ever brought peace, against the public's overwhelming hunger for another show of punishment. Because, let's be real, Andrew has offered precisely zero meaningful apologies, shown the contrition of a houseplant, and therefore clearly deserves a good old-fashioned royal smackdown commensurate with the wreckage he's left behind. Part 3. Kicking him out or just kicking his ego. So what's on the chopping block for our favourite Duke? 2 juicy targets, his lavish digs and his utterly undeserved honours. First up, Royal Lodge, that sprawling Grade 2 listed monument to Andrew's decades of, well, existence in Windsor Great Park. Charles, bless his frugal heart, apparently dreams of Andrew packing his bags for the significantly less grand Frogmore Cottage. Imagine the drama. It's like downgrading from a penthouse to a broom closet for a royal. But here's the kicker, folks. Evicting him is apparently impossible. Jenny Bond, again, stating the bleeding obvious. Why? Because Andrew, in a stroke of pure, unadulterated entitlement, has a 75-year lease on the place. 75 years. He pays nominal rent but is supposed to cover maintenance, which, let's be honest, is probably paid with imaginary unicorn tears. Forcing him out would unleash a complex, protracted and highly public legal battle. And we all know the royals, masters of keeping things dignified, red, swept under the rug, hate that kind of spectacle. So, while booting him from Royal Lodge would be a glorious public humiliation, the sheer PR nightmare of it all might just be too rich for the king's blood. Meaning, all eyes are now on the symbolic baubles Andrew still clutches. The crown jewel of these is his membership in the Most Noble Order of the Garter. Not just some fancy badge, darling. This is Britain's oldest, snobbiest order of chivalry, dating back to 1348. Being a Knight of the Garter is like getting a Lifetime Achievement Award for being born into the right family, or occasionally for extraordinary service. Which, let's be clear, Andrew definitely didn't earn. It's all about medieval pageantry, honour and loyalty. Words that surely taste like ash in Andrew's mouth. He lost his military stuff in 2022, but the Garter? Oh, he still has that, though he was barred from the Garter Day procession. A subtle hint, you know, like a giant flashing neon sign saying, "You are disgraced." But stripping him of the actual honour? That would be a definitive, internationally televised smackdown. Jenny Bond thinks it's exactly the historical precedent and public show of punishment everyone's craving. Unlike a petty lease dispute, this is a clear, unambiguous declaration. Andrew's antics are utterly incompatible with the highest ideals of chivalry. Imagine the collective gasp. The humiliation would echo through every gilded hall, far beyond Buckingham Palace. Part 4. The Fergie Factor. Because every bad situation needs a complicating ex-wife. And just when you thought this royal cluster you-know-what couldn't get any more gloriously convoluted, enter Sarah Ferguson, aka Fergie, the Duchess of York. Fergie. Her enduring, if contradictory, loyalty to Andrew is truly a masterclass in modern relationships. Divorced, yet still shacked up together at Royal Lodge, a truly unconventional front that screams, "We're broke, but trying to keep up appearances." But here's the kicker, the truly delicious morsel that's just spilled into the public arena. A recently leaked email where Fergie gushed about Andrew, calling him her supreme friend. Supreme friend. You can almost hear the collective choke on morning tea across Britain. Now, while understandable for a shared history and children, let's be charitable, this private declaration is a skyscraper-sized middle finger to her previous public statements. Because rewind to 2011, when the Epstein scandal first oozed into the spotlight, Fergie was busy publicly denouncing Andrew. Oh, the theatrics. She was creating distance, obviously to protect her own fading spotlight or her daughter's. But this supreme friend email? It blows her entire distancing act out of the water, revealing that her private loyalty to the Duke is, apparently, as robust as his alleged memory loss. This duality, dear readers, is chef's kiss for drama. It means even if Charles tries to hermetically seal Andrew away in a royal oubliette, Fergie will be there, a highly visible, slightly off-kilter support system, advocating for him and, of course, sharing his palatial residence. This familial solidarity, which on a personal level might be commendable, cue sarcastic eye roll, makes the king's job of fully excising Andrew from the royal sphere about as easy as untangling Christmas lights after a particularly spirited royal party. Charles can't just banish Andrew. He has to contend with the entire gloriously messy York household, a veritable human knot of privilege and questionable judgment. Part 5. The Inevitable Reckoning, or Why Andrew Can't Catch a Break. So, the experts, bless their hearts, have finally agreed. The time for hand-wringing and equivocation is officially over. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous testimony has, quite literally, forced the king's hand, like a particularly uncomfortable game of royal poker. Andrew's little Epstein association isn't just his personal PR disaster anymore. It's actively oozing all over the monarchy's pristine white gloves, tainting every single good deed they try to do. Clearly, something, anything, has to be done. The public, bless their bloodthirsty hearts, isn't just desiring consequences. They're demanding a full-blown public shaming. Andrew's already been relegated to a life of lavish seclusion, basically a royal hermit in a mansion, excluded from the fun parties. But let's be real, seclusion isn't punishment when you're still living in the lap of luxury. It's just damage control with a bigger budget. The masses want humiliation, a visible, undeniable neon sign screaming that the institution has finally, irrevocably vomited him out. And the Order of the Garter. That's the perfect ceremonial guillotine. But Jenny Bond, ever the pragmatist, offered other deliciously petty forms of humiliation to complete his isolation. Imagine, banned from the annual shooting parties, no private family gatherings at Balmoral or Sandringham. The horror. It's like being grounded from the royal playground, reinforcing his status as the family's designated pariah. These might seem like tiny, pinprick wounds compared to the gaping chasm of his alleged crimes, but for Andrew, whose entire pathetic identity is fused to being a royal prince. Every stripped title, every exclusion, is a profound psychological smack to his already fragile ego. King Charles, the man who dreams of a slimmed-down, efficient monarchy, basically a corporation with tiaras, finds Andrew to be the absolute antithesis of his vision. He's a financial black hole, a security nightmare, and a moral liability that constantly threatens to derail Charles's desperate attempts to build a reign based on integrity. Geoffrey's memoir? That's not just a straw, it's a whole bale of hay, the final one, forcing Charles to move beyond merely mopping up Andrew's messes and towards a definitive institutional amputation. The hideous quandary isn't whether Andrew is a problem, but whether Charles has the guts to choose difficult familial confrontation, the only path to stripping the garter and solidifying his exile, or if he'll just keep trying to manage the ongoing contamination with flimsy half measures. Honestly, given the public's appetite for blood, the former seems deliciously inevitable. Conclusion: the king's choice, dignity or disaster. So here we are, darling, at a truly pivotal moment for this ancient monarchy. Virginia Giuffre's tragic legacy, now screaming from the pages of her memoir, has tossed Andrew's pathetic future, and indeed the entire Windsor PR machine's reputation, onto a precarious tightrope. The experts have declared it. The situation isn't just perplexing, it's a full-blown biohazard, and the contamination is as real as Andrew's alleged lack of sweat glands. Our poor king faces the excruciating choice between the bonds of brotherhood, snort, and his demanding duty to protect the crown's image for future generations, a task that must feel like trying to polish a turd. Clearly, stripping him of the Order of the Garter is the most immediate, most satisfyingly public form of punishment available. A historic, glorious stripping of honour that would finally signal the institution's official, unequivocal break with the Duke of York's scandalous Epstein-laced past. This whole glorious debacle certainly gives us much to ponder about the responsibilities that come with royal privilege, and the utterly delicious necessity of institutional accountability, even when it involves one's own deeply disappointing sibling. Now, tell us, you magnificent gossip fiends, what do you think of this exquisitely sensitive situation? Should King Charles III finally grow a spine and immediately yank Andrew from the Order of the Garter? Or do you, in a moment of pure madness, believe the Duke of York has already faced sufficient consequences? Spill all your glorious thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. And don't you dare forget to like this video, subscribe for even more deliciously in-depth royal analysis, and join us next time as we continue to track the unfolding, utterly predictable events within the world's most famously dysfunctional family. Thanks for watching, and we eagerly await your venomous comments.